This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, I'm Justin Betty. Tonight, the Bourbonnais Dam in Pembina County is stable, according to officials with the Pembina County Water Resource District. They say the National Guard with 2 Black Hawk helicopters finished placing sandbags there this afternoon. There was issues yesterday. However, the flood fight continues for many towns in that area. Nitchie city officials say they've been seeking help from the state of North Dakota and the State Water Commission. Some farmers who could normally drive at least heavy farm equipment across some of the lightly flooded areas say even that's become a dangerous idea.
Those waves coming across the field were, I don't know, they looked like they're 3 feet tall, so they were, it was just scary, kind of creepy. And then, I mean, the tractor wasn't going anywhere, but the waves made you think that you were going to go off the road, so it's kind of creepy.
The mayor of Nitchie says they've been battling the flood waters since Sunday, and people were filling up sandbags there starting around 1 this morning. Folks in Horace called our whistleblower hotline recently, worried about standing water impacting children's safety there. People in the River's Edge neighborhood say they've been dealing with these flooded ditches since the development was put in nearly 5 years ago, and they get so big and so deep when the water's high, they really become dangerous.
It's uncomfortable having them out here because you never know what they're going to do, and if they're playing ball, it's so easy for the ball to go in there, just like what happened to the neighbor boy the other day.
City engineer tells us a couple neighborhoods drain into the river, and when the water is high, it can back up into the open ditches along the Cheyenne River. But he says there is undeveloped land nearby, and eventually the plan is for a storm sewer and a regional detention pond there, which should help. Well, across the valley, folks, got a bit of a break from the rain today and some pretty nice temperatures. First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us now live to tell us how long those will stick around. Hutch.
Justin, thanks so much. And indeed, it looks beautiful outdoors, and it's been very nice as we continue to battle the flood in the Northern Valley. As mentioned, the Bourbonnais Dam, the Renwick Dam, those areas definitely still flowing a lot of water and are being watched very carefully as we look at the dry weather that is actually helping things, but there's still a lot of water. Where you see the purple dots up there north of Cavalier, that's Nitchie. We also have that Pembina River at Pembina, the Red River at Pembina. We have also the Drayton and Oslo areas, all at major flood stage. The good news, a very, very, very slow decline over the last 12 to 24 hours on the Pembina River at Nitchie. As you saw from the story, though, still no real relief in the area from those high waters. Here is a look at the Fargo-Moorhead area. Our river actually rising, and the Red River at Fargo is expected to crest as we go through our day tomorrow. So we'll keep our eyes on that as well. Here's a look at a few river levels where the problems are. Up north Grand Forks, your river is falling, but the rest of the Red River still rising the most rapidly and the most pronounced at Pembina, where it'll be a late week crest. Also, the Cheyenne River still coming up in the Kindred area. This water will then flow north into the Harwood area, but the flooding in Harwood is not expected to once again get into the major stage, at least at this point. Temperatures right now lovely. We're near 50 degrees in most locations. We get to enjoy more warm weather, but we do have this on the way, more wet weather starting Saturday. Good news in this forecast is many of these showers Saturday through Monday will be hit and miss and fast moving. Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday, we may have a little bit more widespread rain. I'll detail all of it here in just a few minutes. Justin.
All right, thank you, Hutch. New tonight, Fargo police say they have arrested a man that broke into the Fargo VFW around 3 o'clock Tuesday morning. Police say an employee saw someone in the building through a security camera while it was closed. When police arrived, with the help of a canine officer, they found 41-year-old Gustavo Ruiz hiding in a small basement storage area. He was taken to the Cass County Jail on burglary charges. The bomb squad, a canine unit, and even ATF rushed the Islamic Society of Fargo-Moorhead this afternoon after a report of a suspicious person who dropped off a backpack there. Nearby businesses were told to shelter in place. The Red River Valley Bomb Squad has ultimately determined there was no explosive materials in the bag. They still haven't said who they think left it. That incident remains under investigation. One man is facing several charges after police say he was involved in a standoff in Otter Tail County. Court documents say on Sunday, authorities were called to a home in Richville for a report of a domestic assault. Records say Bernard Stash was beating a woman in the home. She was eventually able to get out and run to police, but documents say Stash then went outside with a gun, fired it several times. At one point, authorities had to call in the SWAT vehicle to deal with the situation. Stash was eventually arrested. He's now charged with assault, domestic assault, and making terroristic threats. The West Fargo School District's warning students to leave their splatter guns at home. They typically shoot gel balls or water beads. However, Cheyenne High School sent a note home to parents saying students are having wars with them on campus, adding nothing with the word gun in it, water gun, or nothing even resembling a gun is allowed at school. School admins also say students caught with these guns or anything similar will face consequences. What could change in North Dakota if the U.S. Supreme Court overturns that landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade case? Well, one area that could feel the impact is the courts. Erica Craven explains.
Abortion is currently only legal in North Dakota prior to 20 weeks and is strictly regulated. Changes to Roe v. Wade would further tighten North Dakota's approach on the issue. Attorney General Drew Wrigley said he will not discuss a leaked draft opinion from the High Court that has not yet been put to a vote, but stated, quote, "My staff and I are evaluating existing North Dakota law which contains trigger mechanisms that may be implicated by the court's eventual decision. There is no way for me to speculate on that now." If the decision is overturned, it would fall to the local state's attorneys to prosecute abortion cases as Class C felonies, putting abortion on the level of negligent homicide and perjury. Attorneys say a law like this wouldn't exist in a vacuum, and the effects could play a role in other areas of the legal system.
There's always been a tension between the abortion laws and other criminal laws anyway. That opens the door to various defenses. It's hard to say how all those will fit together.
Attorneys don't think there would be an uptick in prosecutions immediately. They say some people might travel to another state to have an abortion.
And one state people from North Dakota might go to if abortion is made illegal is Minnesota. Today, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison weighed in on his state's response to the possible repeal of Roe v. Wade, saying he is concerned by the precedent being set by the Supreme Court.
We need to be concerned that the direction the court is taking could lead us to serious and dangerous erosion of Americans' right to privacy in general.
Abortion is legal in Minnesota. Governor Walz has promised to protect that if he remains governor. A judge has now accepted a plea deal in the federal civil rights case for former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. He pleaded guilty in December last year to depriving George Floyd of his civil rights. This related to his murder nearly 2 years ago. Today, a judge said he has accepted the terms of that plea agreement and will sentence him to 20 to 25 years in prison. However, Chauvin is already serving a 22.5-year sentence for the murder conviction in state court last year. The federal sentence would be served concurrently with that sentence. The judge has not yet set a sentencing date for Chauvin. Today, President Biden discussed what his administration is doing to lower the deficit, criticizing Republicans for, in his words, only caring about spending when a Democrat's in office.
We also learned that for the first time since 2016, the Treasury Department is planning to pay down the national debt issued to the public this quarter. And for all the talk the Republicans make about deficits, it didn't happen a single quarter under my predecessor.
The Federal Reserve is taking an even more aggressive step to fight inflation. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell just announced another 0.5% increase to interest rates. It's the biggest boost in 22 years, though rates are still at historically low levels.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation.
While the strategy is designed to bring prices down, it also makes borrowing money more expensive. Homeowners who have an adjustable rate mortgage or folks who are looking to buy could see their rates go up. Auto loans, student loans, and interest on credit cards could also rise slightly. If you're looking for a job, though, there's a good chance you can find one in North Dakota right now. New data released by the North Dakota Job Service shows more than 19,000 jobs remain available in the state. It's up almost 10% just from March and nearly 20% from last year, though still below the national average. The annual employment report, also released today, shows average weekly wages for North Dakotans increased, but by 2.4% from last year. And there are still less unemployed people than there are open jobs. Still ahead on Valley News Live at 10, the force is strong with one local 12-year-old kid. See how a local group is helping make his dream come true.
At Grand Forks, the Red River is in that moderate flood stage. Anywhere to the north, it's rising and it's in major stage. We'll continue to track our rivers and the all-important forecast for rain, which is in the future, will be detailed next.